Hello, hello, hello. Assalamu alaikum. Jiayanu, Pakhair Ragalle, Ni hao, Chunashume, Washmale, Ohio Gonzaimus, Guten Morgen, Hola, Bonjour, Previous, Kaifa, and a very amazing Khush Ahmadi to everyone who's tuned into PTV1 and watching World this morning. Once again, alongside Maha Makhdoom and Shazad Khan. Hello, Maha. How are you today?
Hello everyone. Hello Shazad. Assalamu alaikum. Shazad, I think you've got to take your coat off.
No, I don't want to take it off because it's too cold, and this is what I was actually asking Maha as well. That aren't you feeling cold? And then she
No.
was like, "Oh well, I have just taken my jacket off for the show."
I don't have a jacket, I have a cardigan, but I'm doing layers because I know how the studio is, and also I want to do fashion for our viewers.
Yeah, all right. So that's cool too. This is fashion too. This is Barber jacket.
Yeah.
I just got it recently, so I wanted to show off my
Okay,
Barber
nice.
jacket too as
Excellent,
well. Barber
excellent.
jacket is very famous in England, right?
Yes, they are, and it's very nice.
So,
it's very
thank
smart.
you very much for saying that. So
Yes.
I'm not taking it off now.
Okay, absolutely. Excellent. But
How are you?
I'm very good. We have a great show lined up for you. And like I was talking to our viewers yesterday that, sometimes you have moments in your life where you have to reflect. But I love it how when the shows and the week goes in line, and it just cheers me up so much because, this is what we're here for. We're here to raise awareness, and we're here to make sure that people whose voices should be heard more are being heard.
Exactly,
It makes
and
me happy.
I think that we might have discussed on this issue as well, but today, this campaign we are going to talk about, it's going to be very close to my heart. This is the feeling which I get, but obviously we have to get some more information about
Absolutely.
it. But before that, let's go on and take a look at the top stories around the world. Coming up. Prime Minister Shahid Khaqan Abbasi says Pakistan is effectively dealing with the phenomena of greenhouse effect.
Minister of State for Information Mariam Aurangzeb has said the government has completed a record infrastructure development and power project in the country during the last 4.5 years.
No doubt in that. Pakistani fast bowler Hassan Ali has maintained his position as top one-day international bowler in the International Cricket Council rankings. Congratulations, Hassan Ali.
Congratulations. And Australia has reclaimed the Ashes by winning the third test at Perth's Wacker ground by an innings and 41 runs. Congratulations to Australia. Bad luck to England.
Yeah, it's all right.
The way they were going, they weren't going to make a comeback.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and a bit of a weather update too as well. It's going to be partly cloudy. Weather conditions are expected in most parts of the country during next 24 hours. Whereas as far as Islamabad is concerned, it's 13 degrees right now. There's fog a bit within the city. And by 4 p.m., it's going to be 21 degrees. But by night, let me check. Right, so by night, it's going to be 13 or 12 degrees as well. So
Okay.
please make sure that you stay warm.
Exactly, and this weather is very confusing. Like when the sun comes out, it's hot, but it's cold. So do try and dress accordingly. Try and do layers like I've done, because then you can take them off and you don't have to suffer.
Because I
and you might
didn't
not
got
get sick.
this update from the Met Office. It's from my iPhone as well. Well, this is
Oh,
how
yeah.
we pretend to, give out the weather updates.
No,
as
but it's
well.
about getting information. But
Yeah.
anyway, let's go and look at our public service message because we have to get started with the show because it's a very important show.
And Maha's going to do the honors.
Okay, so I've been I've been talking about with you guys since the last week. I've been in a reflective mode these days because as a human being, we need to reflect in order to see what our shortcomings are. And until we're honest with each other, we will never improve. And then things around us won't improve because if we're lying to ourselves, then we're going to be lying about the situation around us. And and I am as guilty of it as everyone else. We're human beings, but tolerance and acceptance is something that we really need to start practicing. It's we are so judgmental. We are so quick to judge and say, oh, this is not good behavior. This is not normal. This is not right. This is wrong. we need to try and see other people's situations. We need to see their, their battles, what they're going through, and we need to have a bit more empathy. With empathy, we can have more tolerance. So I just think that we need to sensitize ourselves and just try and be a bit nicer and a bit more aware of people's emotions and feelings, because this is the same thing, when we're intolerant, then we don't respect people. We don't give them the space to live their lives. So that is my message to you. And I'm sorry if I feel like you guys feel like I'm preaching at you guys, but like I said, we're all guilty of this. We all have our moments where we're not the best people that we can be, but it's about learning and it's about growing.
And Maha, I just wanted to have an awe moment as well. Awe, that was really cute, and
Okay,
the message was superb too as well.
Thank you.
And I think the message was in line with what we're going to talk
Absolutely.
about today. It was, since you mentioned about patience and tolerance. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to talk about this initiative, which was actually initiated by the Asia Pacific transgender community, and they came up with the hashtag Change the Clap.
Yes. Yes. No, continue.
All right, so when they came up with this, obviously it was to raise awareness, and as soon as the hashtag came out, quite a lot of celebrities, artists, sportsmen, they joined the cause as well. We've got a short video to share with you guys. Once, take a look at the video, and then when you guys are going to come back, we're going to talk about their rights, because obviously they do fall under human rights, right?
Absolutely.
So we're going to talk about that. Let's take a look at the video.
पीछे जाओ, तमीज की पीछे जाओ, प्लीज।
पहले भी समझाया, इस मोहल्ले में नहीं आना, ये शरीफों का मोहल्ला है, लेकिन तुझे समझ नहीं आई।
ये खुसरे
पेश मार। स्वीट डिश किधर? तुझे नहीं पता मैं कहाँ जा रही हूँ?
है हटो यहाँ से, ये और कहीं जगह है।
हम किधर जाएं? खैर हो साहब जी।
अबे ये तो वो है।
रुक क्यों गए? कभी सोचा नहीं था ना कि हम जैसे लोग भी इस मुकाम तक पहुंच पाएंगे? सोच बदल के देखो, ये ताली भी बदल जाएगी।
So this was a campaign that is much needed, and this is, especially within Pakistan, because there are a lot of issues. There's a lot of social issues that we need to address, but we also need to find out what are the solutions and how do campaigns like this actually help. And we've been joined by some wonderful guests, and today Shahzad's going to do the introduction.
Yeah, and before we move forward with the introduction, there are a few things which I think are in line with this campaign as well, and the recent changes which have been made are commendable too. So I'm going to talk about that as well. For example, that now they've started issuing them ID cards as well, and then other than that, Quaid-e-Azam University is actually offering free courses and free semesters for all of the transgender community, which I think is moving towards inclusive education. And it is all about inclusiveness, and this is what we need to change. This is why we need to change the clap too as well. So on my right-hand side, ladies and gentlemen, I've been joined by somebody. I've seen her on different occasions. She's there to judge many occasions as well, and many competitions. So and she's been on the show quite a lot of times. She's the executive director of Mehergarh. She's a social activist. She's none other than Miss Malia Hussain. Hello, assalamu alaikum, ma'am. How are you?
Assalamu alaikum. I'm good.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for joining us. And alongside her, we have been joined by somebody who's actually going against the stereotypes, breaking all the stereotypes, breaking all of those barriers which do not let them be in our society. So on my right-hand side, a trans woman, studied computer sciences at NAS School of Electrical Engineering and Computer. She's none other than Miss Irha Parishe. Hello, Irha. How are you? Assalamu alaikum.
I'm great. Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. On
No,
the show.
thank you for
Thank you very
being
much for
here.
coming over.
So this is a great, this is a great initiative, great campaign, to raise awareness. But Irha, before I get started with you, I just want to just ask Maliha. This campaign we've just started, this campaign that, we're seeing everywhere on social media. People in Pakistan, no, everything's good here. What is the actual situation that you've seen from all the work that you've been doing on the ground level?
Actually, things are not all that good. We tend to close our eyes and don't look at issues, because when we look at issues, it makes us very uncomfortable, and we don't want to think about what sort of human beings are we, what
Okay.
sort of people are we. But I think unless and until we face our issues, no matter how uncomfortable, we won't be able to resolve them.
Yeah.
And like a few years ago, well, actually even today, women are also facing similar issues. Transgender communities facing very serious issues, and we need to look at all of those issues and then address them.
Okay.
Because we are all human beings first.
Absolutely.
We
So,
tend
Era,
to forget that.
absolutely. So, Era, I want to ask you, this campaign has started. So what are the issues that are actually being faced by the transgender community within Pakistan? Let's actually be quite blunt about it so that people actually realize what's happening.
One of the biggest issue is that there's so much discrimination in trans community and to trans community, and within trans community there are plenty of issues that needs to be dealt. And biggest thing is that when in the beginning, when a child comes out as a transgender person, he or she is shoved by the family out of their houses, and they have no one to support and they have no one to guide them so they could be a better person. So this is one of the biggest issues that people need to know, that we need to accept the people who are different, irrespective of their gender, irrespective of their sexuality, irrespective of their race, if they're of their color. In our community, there are more issues, like if you are even unfair, they won't love you as much as you have the fairer brother or sister. Because I have seen that in my family, in my surroundings. I have seen that people are still, having those standards. Only the beauty is only having a fair body or something like that. And the same with the case with the trans people. The issue is that the people are not educated, and they are not educated who they are actually in our trans community. What they know is that they are only educated by their gurus, by their Khwaja system. And basically, people does not know what are the terms in transgender community.
Okay.
So we need to make aware
I think that's why you're over here as well. So please
Yeah.
let us know what are the issues within the transgender community first of all, and then we'll definitely come forward with, where actually Miss Malia was saying that, even with women, we see these issues too as well. So let's just figure out what are the issues within the transgender community.
So you said the discrimination already. So when one is living their life, what are the problems that they're facing?
The guru system, or how do you get all the
The
teachings?
guru system is like, I'm not part of it. Like every transgender has a choice to be a part of it or not.
Okay.
And I identify myself as a trans woman, and I demand my right being as same as a woman, not different than that. I believe in inclusivity. But the thing is that the people who belong to Guru Chela system and the Khwaja community, they demand this exclusivity. They demand their own line. They demand their own rights. And I totally appreciate that, and totally respect that. We should respect what people needs and aspirations are. Because being a trans woman, I cannot know what they want and what they need. And the thing is that the biggest issue within the community is that there's so much manipulation of the new chelas. The chelas are the people who come to the old transgender people to get the guidance and to know more about themselves, what they actually are. Because in our community, like if most of the people who run away from their houses don't belong to very good class, so they don't have any access to internet, they are not educated, they don't know how to use and how to get aware of the terms what we are actually.
Okay.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Amazing that is. But other than that, since you just mentioned that you're not a part of the Khwaja setup, and that obviously means that you have got plenty of support from your family and your friends too as well. So we do have a documentary with the name of Main Rahmat Hoon.
Yeah.
And we're going to play that video of yours.
Sure.
Thank you very much for raising awareness and spreading awareness amongst nations right now today on World This Morning. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look at this video of Era with the title Main Rahmat Hoon. Very nice.
देखा आज फिर से लेट हो गई अभी आएंगी मोहतरमा सॉरी सॉरी करते हुए कान पकड़ेंगी और मासूम सी शक्ल बनाएंगी मैं भी मसनूई गुस्से से घूरूंगा और हंस पड़ूंगा बस फिर सारी गलतियां माफ अभी तैयार हो रही होगी बहुत देर लगती है उसे तैयार होने वो खूबसूरत है मगर मोहब्बत उसे और भी खूबसूरत बना देती है हमारी रगों में दौड़ते एक ही खून की मोहब्बत अम्मी अब्बू खुश थे अब्बू ने मिठाई भी बांटी थी बिल्कुल वैसे ही जैसे मेरे पैदा होने पे बांटी थी लोग हैरान होते थे और अब तक हुए जाते हैं जब लोग आकर पूछते थे कि बेटी हुई है या बेटा अम्मी कहती थी रहमत हुई, वो सर हिला के कहते थे अच्छा यानी बेटी हुई है। अम्मी फिर से कहती थी नहीं बस रहमत हुई, और यूं उसका नाम रहमत रखा। ऐसी थी हमारे घर में रहमत की आमद। मेरा वो नन्हा सा बड़ी बड़ी हैरान आंखों वाला खिलौना अब बड़ा हो गया। ये है हमारी रहमत। खूबसूरत है ना? लोग इसे देखते हैं तो हमसे हमदर्दी करते हैं, और हम उन पे अफसोस करते हैं, क्योंकि हमें नाज है उस पे और उसे मान है हम पे। उसके हाथ तालियों के लिए नहीं बने और ना ही उसके पांव घुंघरुओं के लिए। इज्जत और मोहब्बत पे वो भी उतना ही हक रखती है जितना कि हम सब। इस मुआशरे के बनाए हुए उसूलों के मुताबिक वो ना मर्द है ना औरत। तो ठीक है, मान लिया कि नहीं है उसकी सिन्फ, मगर वो इंसान है, एक मुकम्मल इंसान। कोई गुनाह नहीं था उसका यूं पैदा होना कि वो उसकी कीमत नफरत और हकारत से चुकाती। स्कूल में, यूनिवर्सिटी में, सड़क पे जब उस पे आवाजें कसी जाती थी तो वो गर्दन उठा के यूं चलती थी जैसे सुना ही नहीं, मगर मैं सुनता था जो वो नहीं कहती थी। वो सवाल जो वो उस बेहिस्सी पे उठाती थी कि आखिर कब तक उसे और उस जैसी रहमतों को उस जुर्म की सजा दी जाएगी जो उन्होंने किया ही नहीं।
Okay, so that was a video on Irha, and it's, you know, these things are so moving. I was actually just trying to fight back. It's just so sad that we still are having these discussions. I mean, I keep saying it in 2017, and it's just, you know, devastating. But Shazad has a question.
And Maha, it is devastating because of the fact that, you know, quite a lot of times on many platforms, you know, even, I'm sorry, Ms. Malia, that I have to throw this in as well, that human rights activists haven't really focused on transgender rights itself. You know, we talk about women's
all
rights.
need to.
Yeah, we talk
Not
about
just a
women's
group of
rights.
people.
Yeah.
We talk about men's rights as well. But what are transgenders' rights? I think this is something which I would love
Okay,
to ask.
but
her.
first, before we go into the rights, but what is transgender to you?
Okay. First of all, people need to understand that what a transgender is.
Yeah.
Because in our community, people, what they think is that a trans person is only an intersex. But intersex is a part of transgender.
Okay.
Transgender is an umbrella term to address every person who is not belong to the binary situation. For example, it does not have a female or male gender.
Yeah.
For example, and the thing is that a transgender person is an intersex person can be identified at birth, but a trans person cannot be identified at the birth. With the passage of time, like when a child reaches the age of 4 or 5 or maybe 6, he or she starts to show the actions and the gender expressions in her body and the way he speaks or she speaks, and people start noticing that there's difference between the sex assigned him at the birth and the gender he's opting for, the expression he or she's choosing for. So people need to understand that it is not the thing that you can identify specifically on the birth. Yes, it can be. The people who are intersex can be identified, but not every trans person, because people do have, like, they have the male anatomy, they have the female anatomy, but what inside they don't know. I, like, being as a computer scientist, I say software and hardware doesn't match with each other.
Okay, yes, that's a good
And
way.
that's it. That, for example, in a very simple way, if a person has a male body but has the feelings of a female body, that makes a trans person. And I am a trans woman. I had a male anatomy, but my feelings were totally like a woman. And being like, and when you are getting when you are very young, like in your childhood, like at the age of 5 and 6, you start showing the signs that you are very feminine and you were different, and people start to ask question, are you acting like that? Like, you should not act like that. This is not how a guy do. And a child does not know what's the difference between a man and a female. The person has not seen even the sexual parts of the body, and he does not know what a man's supposed to do and what a female is supposed to do. So if you would see, and I would ask some people, okay, if you want to know who I am, and like if you want to confirm that, okay, people say, okay, like a gender is not something, a person is only known by his sex. I say, what if tomorrow you are a guy and you lose your sexual part? So would you become a woman then? Were you feeling shame at the moment? No, not at all. You would be the same person. Your sexual part does not reflect your
So it all
feelings.
comes down to the fact that, you know, by 5, 6, or 7, when they start to
Even
grow up,
4.
that's when they decide whether they want to be a trans woman or a trans man.
It's,
No, they don't decide it.
The
You
children,
can notice
That's
this.
okay,
when
wait,
they
wait.
are.
Know
Let-
it.
Yeah, let's put it into context. It's like, you know, it's just like having a 4-year-old kid come up to you. It's not that they're making
Yeah.
decisions; they're just acting out.
So eventually
Exactly.
they have to decide which way they want to be, right?
No, they don't have to
No.
decide.
No.
This
Don't
is
decide, it's
how
a-
they feel.
Yeah.
For example, you feel about being called trans woman, right?
Yeah,
That's what I'm asking.
I'm a trans woman,
Yeah.
right? And in Pakistan, there are so many issues with the trans women. Like, we suffer a lot because of the Khwaja Sira community as well. I am not disrespecting that. I love them. They are my sisters as well. And I do respect them as humans. But we are not as much visible as Khwaja Sira people are.
Exactly. So we're
Yeah.
going to touch upon all of these, and we're going to also bring Maliha into the conversation. But before that, we're going to go for a short break. But when you come back, we're going to continue having this very important discussion that we need to be having about inclusivity and the way we treat the transgender
And their rights
community.
too. I mean, my question's still unanswered, so
Yeah,
we'll
we're gonna
come back to that.
We're building up to it. Stay
Yeah.
tuned.
Good morning. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for everybody who
This
just
is the
got
main
tuned into
reason now
PTY.
because
You watch
everything
Evolve this
starts.
morning alongside Maha Maktoum and Shazad Khan.
Yes.
And today we are talking about a hashtag, which is the new trend, and that is Change the Club. And this initiative was taken by the Asia Pacific transgender community. We are in conversation with Ms. Maliha Hussain, who is the executive director, Mehergar social activist. She is, and then other than that, we are talking to a trans woman who studied computer sciences at NAST, and she's none other than Ms. Irha Parishe.
Great. So, you know, before the break, we're talking about, you know, what it means and the definitions and, you know, because people don't still understand. But, Maliha, I'd like to ask you, you know, you mentioned before that, you know, transgender rights and trans women's rights are the same as women's rights, which is absolutely...
human rights.
They're human rights. I mean, they're human beings, so obviously. Now, Irham pointed out something very important about, how there is no guidance and there's no education, and there are a lot of hurdles within our society and our community in order to let the transgender community go forward and evolve. Why is this so detrimental to our society? Why do we need to change it? And it's a three-part. Why is it detrimental? Why do we need to change it? And what's the solution to it? Because they're being, like Erha pointed out, they're being taught something, they're being told what people expect of them, what they the assumed roles. How do we break from that?
Yeah.
Sorry, long question.
See, it needs to start at home. When a child is either biologically different or they start to act differently as they're growing up, people or parents need to accept them for who they are. I think that is the very first point, because we need to be ourselves. All human beings need to be ourselves. Be what God created us to be. And only then we can be our best and do our best. So the first thing is parents need to accept them for who they are and guide them, like they guide their other children on what to do, what not to do, not changing them or molding them into something they want them to be, just like any other children. Like a son wants to be an artist and draw, and they push them into being a doctor or an engineer because you have to fit into the role that the society has defined for you. So they need to be a little more understanding, understand their children, guide them into becoming the persons they need to become or who they are.
But
Help them
Maria,
develop who they are.
It's not that easy, and it's not that easy because of the fact that, within our conventional system, we see that, either parents are used to of raising a boys or girls as well. So this is something which they might be very new to as well. So how do you think that they, first of all, kind of guide their own souls, or probably, teach their own selves, and then probably tell the kids that this is what you need to do?
Yeah, where are they going to get this education from?
Yeah.
Even today, a lot of people are not very happy when a baby girl is born.
That's true.
So, things are not all that different. You brought this child into this world. You love them, you take care of them, and things will not be very difficult if you just accept them for who they are and stop worrying about what will people say. That is where we get stuck.
Yes, exactly. So let's bring Erha to the conversation. How do we educate these parents, and how do we take it forward now? Because we've got this campaign going, which is really making a lot of waves. It's really raising the awareness in the situation of people's own behaviors. It's holding up a mirror to them. So how are we going to educate the parents of these people, of these human beings, and make it better?
Like, for example, one of the best thing you're doing it right now, educating through the media, and media has a vital role in our community to play, and this is how we're going to do that, because most of the parents do not have access to the social media, and they don't like to use it, and they're more concerned to their because in our community most of the population belongs to the lower middle class or lower class, and when they have an issue, they go for a mullah, they go for a fatwa person. So we need to make such centers that people can access, the parent can access that we have such issues, and we need to create awareness about the trans people, who the trans people are, like just I did, that people does not know what a trans means, what a trans person is, and is it natural or not, because people ask, oh, it is a choice, you cannot do that, it's on you, you have to change your attributes, your characteristics, and that cannot be changed. Even in Quran, people, Lord says, you have no control on your actions, you don't control on your feelings, so I have no control on my feelings, so how can I change it? And it's simple like that. When a person, you cannot change it internally, you cannot change your feelings, I guess, like being as a woman, you feel like a woman. If I would ask you tomorrow, no, feel like a man, how a man feels, would you be able to feel it?
No, I can't, and that's why we end up having a lot of arguments sometimes. But no, you're absolutely right. It's about Okay, so now
That's why marriages are not very easy, because
Marriages.
the men cannot feel like a woman, and the women cannot feel like a man
exactly.
too as well.
But I want to ask you, you were saying about during the break that and I was mentioning this, that there's science and there's research being
Yeah.
done on it. So can you just share a little bit
Yeah,
about this?
the research is being done on different things, that how we need to, like, what's the reason behind it, because we are humans and we are so curious to know what the reason behind it, like why a person does act like that.
Yeah.
So with the recent research, it is discovered with the CT scan, I guess I may be wrong, but there was something scanning, and what
The brain activities.
yeah,
when
the
they,
brain the research shown, if you know, that there's a difference between a male brain and a female brain.
Yes.
If we studied biology, like I was not, but I did research on that.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between a male brain and a female brain. So what the discovery was, that they made a discovery by this scanning, that the average size of that part of the brain, which makes them feel like a man or a woman, is similar to the woman born with a sexual part she is supposed to
All
be.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, so now the thing is, when you now this is the thing, and my producer just really triggered a very good question. When within the society, when we're already so, we make a lot of jokes, everything is,
And our
women
producers
complain.
actually need to pay for this.
No. It's just a question. Where we negate the issues that are being faced. That they have it really good. There's a lot of respect. They have all the rights. I mean, how are we even going? We don't even accept that. I mean, over here, harassment, all these things are rife, and we don't accept it because people are making a big deal out of it. They're being drama, or it's not natural. How are we going to even start it? Let's be very realistic here.
Yeah,
So-
no, in Pakistan, actually, a lot of work is being done.
Yeah.
We have 2 laws in our parliament
Wonderful.
at present. And they cover a lot of issues that are faced by transgender people.
Excellent.
And I think mostly they are good. We still need to do more work. Making a law is one aspect of it. Implementing that law, again, a lot of people need to work on it so that the law gets implemented. And the third very important aspect is our mindset.
Okay.
We need to change the way we think. We need to look at all of us as human beings, men, women, transgenders. First of all, we are human beings, and we have a lot more things in common than, you look at your differences, even though differences are important. But knowing that, if you prick your finger with a pin, whether it's a man or a woman or a transgender, it hurts. And blood comes out. We feel the same way. We feel pain the same way. We are happy, when something good happens. So focusing on our similarities and accepting, acknowledging the differences and respecting them, respecting each other as human beings, because transgenders are, okay, we haven't done a lot on their rights yet, but we've started working on them. Women are were here, exactly here, a few decades ago.
Yeah.
Women were not allowed to vote. It's a international phenomena. Even in other countries, women got their rights not too long ago.
Very recently,
Yeah,
I
very
mean,
recently.
I know. So it's the
crazy.
same thing. We are fighting for our rights. Different groups in the communities are fighting for their rights.
No, but this is what I need to ask over here. For example, since you guys are getting your ID cards too from Nadra. Other than that, you've got your voting right too as
Yeah.
well. You've got access to all kind of medical facilities. You've got access to knowledge or education. Now, what more do we need to work on so that we decide that okay, now we have achieved this much and this much is left to as well. Which are those areas? Let's talk about that, and then please share or spread some light on where you think that the transgender community actually needs to change their actions too as well, because it's not just about changing the clap, it's about changing the mindset within the transgender community and then the community at large.
Yeah. Okay, so you asked the question, okay, what are our rights and what we really need
Yeah.
demand. One of the main issue is the healthcare issue, because
Okay.
I remember there was an incident that happened in Peshawar, I
Yes.
guess, and a transgender was died like outside the ward, like they were not able to decide like which ward should be allotted to her, either female ward or the male ward, and she lost her life during that, and it's very hurtful being as a trans woman, being as a human. It's
a
very
human
hurtful.
being, it's irrelevant
Yeah.
of
So we
gender.
need to work on the healthcare, because the trans women go on medication and there are being surgeries done for, like, if I want to be a complete woman, so I should have an option to go for the transitioning and go for the whole procedure to become a complete woman. And so there are no guidance there are no medical centers for that we really need to work on that. The other thing I believe is that education should be free, and they would be encouraged towards the education, because you know what, I believe education is the only key which can bring the change. And within our community, what we need to change is that like we need to understand, we need to get inclusive instead of we should get marginalized, we make our houses outside the society. We have to try to make our own places, like, and I believe in our society we give them too much sympathy. We should not do that. We should treat them like normal people, so that they won't be a self-pity in themselves, and they won't be like we cannot do anything.
But for a
Empowering people.
But for a slight change, Alama Iqbal Open University is offering free courses as well. So I think we are at a good start as well. But other than that, you know, since what I also wanted to ask was that the transgender community need to change. So it's not just the the other community or the community at large. In which areas do you think that they need to change too as well?
Yeah, in first aid, I just told you they need to be inclusive first. They need to feel like we are same as human, because they believe that we are some different thing and we are supposed to be treated very specially. We are not. We are, and we have to, like, they have to strengthen themselves. And sometimes, you know, it's it's in our nature, when a child is neglected or something like that, he asks for attention, and he or she does such things. So in our trans community, people do such things that to just take the attention of the people. And yes, and that's why they need to change it as well, and they need to educate themselves first of all what they are and what they're right.
Okay, yeah, no, but the thing is, I feel like, you know, it's that catch-22 situation, because the reason why they think that, you know, they're special or they're feeling sorry for themselves is because the opportunities haven't been there. Yes, slowly the rights and education avenues are opening up, but when you have no other option, what are you going to do? But it's so great that, you know, these people are out there and they're working on it. And within Pakistan, you know, what I felt is that in the society, there's actually a bit more, I feel like there's more potential for us to change. I mean, I felt when I went to UK, we're a bit more rigid with our thoughts. So, Maliha, just going forward, because we're running out of time, what would you now like to see? Because this campaign is making, you know, really having an effect, I think the desired effect. It's having a really positive effect. People are talking about it. What would you like to see now transpire from this?
I think I would like to see a lot more people, all of us, start accepting not only transgenders, but men, women, transgenders, people who are differently abled, look at them as human beings and treat them as human beings, nobody's higher or lower, we are all the same. So I think that is the most important thing that we can do. Treat them the same, respect them the same.
You wanted to say something?
Yeah, you were asking me, well, like, what was the role of the Asia Pacific
Transgender
network, and I guess it was too long conversation.
So yes, so what's the role of that, and how does it all fit in with Pakistan?
Asia Transgender Network is the network of trans people and the organization which are supporting and raising needs and aspiration of trans people. Because if you want to learn about the rights and needs of the people, you need to know who they are. So they are working for it, and one of the biggest thing what they did in recent campaign, which was made by the BBDO and launched by the ATP, Asia Transgender Pacific Network, and what we have showed in the, like, we need to change the perception, we need to change the way we need to present ourselves, and we need to change the people how they perceive us. We are not people, we are not something to be ridiculed, we are something to be treated equal as you are.
And we support.
Wonderful, absolutely. Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here today. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show to discuss a very important topic and subject, and thank you for taking the time out. It's great. So, Shazad, do you have anything to say? I have a couple of points.
Yeah, so what I wanted. All right, Maha, sir, do you want to say anything?
Yes, just because a subject doesn't, it makes us uncomfortable, doesn't mean that we have an ostrich effect and we bury our heads in the sand. Until we honestly reflect at our shortcomings and where we are failing as human beings, as humanity, then only can we make it better. And it is our duty as Pakistani citizens to do something about this.
And this is what I wanted to say too as well, because a few days ago we did a show on women empowerment where the theme was that the men really need to step up to empower women. So I think over here the women and the men. You know, all segments of the society need to step up to make sure that, you know, we enable and empower the transgender community.
Yes, and with that, log on to our Facebook fan
It is
page,
with the name of World This Morning.
our Twitter page,
World This Morning without a G.
our Daily Mission YouTube page.
World This Morning, World This Morning.
And the repeat is at
5 past 11 p.m.
And don't forget to change the clap.
So till the next time, 1, 2, 3.
Good morning.
Thank you.